who knows? Yeah.
What did you say was going to happen to interactive TV?
Well, first they have to build the networks. Our current prediction is that they'll go ahead and put the networks in place for a variety of reasons, most of which have nothing to do with interactive TV, and largely politics and regulatory battles. And then in 3 to 5 years, when the networks finally arrive, the networks will be there, and the networks, in fact, will be used for TCP/IP traffic, which will be a very good thing. Yeah.
How can you make extensive use of multimedia if your standard is a 14.4 modem?
It's a challenge. The standard for home use is 14.4 unless cable modems catch on, which is sort of an unknown, particularly because a lot of the cable plants have to be updated. But the other interesting thing is sort of the other half of the market is definitely the corporate LAN environment, which extends into the educational and government markets also, markets such as they are, where you do have significantly higher speeds. In fact, it's going to be interesting definitely to see what happens with some of the new low-cost approach to ATM networking in corporations. I think the install base and the reach for that is going to be enough where it's going to be propelling the whole thing forward, and then as the interactive TV networks and everything else, and ISDN and everything is run into the homes, there will be a lag time there. And it's that lag time primarily why we try to concentrate on 14.4.28a, because if we can do 14.4.28a, then we can do 1.5 megabit with no problem.
What do you think about VRML and the spatialization of presenting information?
Oh boy, research area. I think it's a wide open space. I think it's really interesting. I think it's going to be a lot of experimentation. I guess I wouldn't expect to see completed systems in place in 3 months, but over the next few years, it's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens.
What about 28.8?
I'm all in favor of it. I mean, it's going to be arriving. It's going to be arriving. It's just a matter of price. The price curves. 14.4 modems are falling well below $100 now. So
you don't think that it's a problem with the standards? It's more of the cost factor.
No, I think in general it's the cost factor. I think 14.4, the usage of 14.4 is just ramping way up, and 28.8 probably rises at that level in 2 years.
What's ENCOM's business model?
Making money.
Where will your revenue stream come from?
Oh, sure. First of all, off of the software that we make, it's fairly straightforward. The only sort of twist to it is the fact that we are giving the client away, but that's under restricted conditions, similar to how NCSA Mosaic was given away. The client is given away free for basically personal, educational, single end-user use, but certainly deploying it within a corporate setting or redistributing it requires you to pay us. Similarly, the servers are definitely not free, and a lot of the back-end pieces that we'll be building won't be. So we think there's a pretty big opportunity for those pieces. And we think that distributing the client for free to internet-connected end users helps propel all the rest of that.
Is the encryption that you're employing, will it be compatible with like the secure HTTP that's supposedly happening? Is there any kind of agreement going on with everyone using the RSA technologies for encryption?
There's discussions happening on that. There was a working group meeting in Boston last Tuesday where secure HTTP people and a whole bunch of other people, including us, got together to talk about all this. And I think there's going to be a process over the next 6 months to a year where it all sort of folds together. But it's a very complicated thing, and it's also kind of the most complicated thing about it is that this technology lets you construct really elaborate security schemes with lots of different models of trust. Who do you trust? How do you know that you trust them? To what extent do you trust them? And you really have to achieve a balance between the full range of capabilities you want and the user experience and what real people are actually going to be willing to deal with. So it's going to be an experimental process. In the end, I think there will be a single standard, and I think we'll be working towards that.
On my way to this talk this morning, I drove by a bridge that had a large HTTP address on a vinyl banner attached to it.
Did you write it down and drive off the side of the road?
They're a little bit long. Do you ever wake up in the morning and just pinch yourself and go, I can't believe this is happening?
Yeah, it is pretty bizarre. It is pretty strange. They're actually taking it seriously. That's the funny part.